All right, another context with percentages. Again, I'm not rushing to any algorithms. I'm allowing the meaning and understanding of percent drive the thinking, as I like to say. Just let students follow their noses. What makes sense? Teach them to think and reason and follow their noses meaningfully based on their understanding of ideas. So when money is invested in the bank, the bank pays a percentage of the investment to the customer. In the case of simple interest, the bank pays the same percentage of the initial investment every year for as many years as the account is active. Suppose Nicole has $25,000 in her pocket. Wouldn't that be awesome? And agrees to leave it in the bank for 5 years where they pay 3.75% simple interest. How much will Nicole earn in interest? So she has a total of $25,000. That means that all 100 squares would total up to $25,000. That's the total amount of money in the bank. Notice that's a little different than my last example, where in the last example we were given what 18% was. The 18% gratuity was $150. We need to figure out the total the total amount. In this case, we know that the total amount is 25,000, and what we want to figure out is how much money will the bank pay me if they pay 3.75% interest? Now, percent means per 100. And so what I want to figure out is, I want to figure out what 1% is, and then maybe a second percent, maybe that third percent, not maybe for sure that three, and then in the fourth one, I just want 3/4%. So I want 1, 2, 3, and 3/4%. So I want to figure out what that is. So first, how much money would be in each of these squares if there's 25,000 total and there's 100 squares? So I'm going to take $25,000 and I'm going to equally divide it among the 100 squares to see how much goes in each square. Now you could probably do this one in your head because dividing by 100, it would just be $250. So each percent is $250. So 3% would be 3 copies of $250. 3.75. In this last one, I would only want 3/4%, so only 3/4 of $250. So I want 3 full copies, and then 0.75 or 3/4%. So I need 3.75 copies of $250 to see how much money is in here. So let's see. 3.75 times 250 is, so 937.5. So $937.50 is what, who do I got here? Nicole. Nicole is going to get $937.50 every year for 5 years. So if she gets $937.50 every year for 5 years, so I need 5 of those, that's $4,687.50. So here's Nicole's story. She drops off $25,000 at the bank. 5 years later, she comes back to the bank, and the bank adds to her money this much. And so how much money does the bank now owe her, or what is her account worth? $29,687.50. All right, now, what's the idea here? Did you see how the thinking emerged? It's not the, oh, I don't remember what to do, or what's the formula. Often with this stuff, some teachers will often tell a formula. Here's the formula for simple interest. Interest equals P times R times T. You just plug numbers into the formula and you do the thing. I don't even think we need the formula. We just need thinking. So there's $25,000 in total. So 100% is $25,000. Therefore, what would 1% be? Well, 1% would be $250. Therefore, 3%, 3 of those. Therefore, 3.75 of those, 3.75 copies of $250 would be this much money. And if she earns that much money every year for 5 years, then at the end of the day, at the end of the account of 5 years, she has this much money.